Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light, all light, all light.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicked your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
All light, all light, all light. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the number one. It's the number one landscape lighting show in West Palm Beach, Florida, baby. Let's go. So excited to hang out with you. Nerd out on lighting. We're going to be talking all things business, lighting design, installation, all the good stuff. Got a great show lined up for you guys. Listen, we are here to educate, to motivate, to help you dominate wherever you're at, even if you're in Iowa or Fargo, North Dakota. We don't care. We want to help you guys grow your business. So that's what we're going to do today. We got a friend of the show, someone who's been with us, I feel like on a decent basis. We got Greg Matthews with Luxury Illumination joining us in just a few minutes. So listen, guys, if you are looking to scale your business, you're looking to land larger jobs, you're looking to go big, you're going to want to listen to this show probably several times. So make sure you stick around because we got Greg Matthews, Luxury Illumination. He's the only one so far to earn the LMCX, which is $10 million in landscape lighting since joining Landscape Lighting Secrets. So that's pretty freaking awesome. He's coming on the show today. Before we have him come on, I do have to ask a favor, guys. I'm still trying to get reviews, and I found out that Greg's showing it off. He's got it there in his office. I did find out that I only have 74 friends. I have 74 friends because and family counts in that too. I think my mom can only give me so many reviews, guys. I'm trying to get more reviews on Apple, Spotify. I think we got like 44, something like that. But I want some on Apple because Apple, you can write nice things. So if you have not given a review for the show, please do so. Joe Rubino in the house. What's up, buddy? Thank you for one of your reviews. So you're one of my 74 friends. That feels good. Thank you. I'm hoping that I have 75 friends. That's all. I'm just trying to get more reviews. You guys know how it is when you get a 5-star review on Google. For me, it's not really about Google. It's about the podcast. So if you have time, if you want to help a brother out, hook me up. And again, we got Greg Matthews coming on, Luxury Illumination. This guy's a total stud. We're going to be talking about some of the things that he's doing in his business that is probably going to blow your mind. And in the next, I would say, a couple of years, you're going to be like, wow. So make sure you stick around. It's going to be an awesome conversation. Before I have him on, I want to talk about, guys, just a couple of weeks ago, we had Light It Up Expo. And I haven't really had a show since then. I took last week off and really want to talk about that show just for a second, because what we're doing, it was phenomenal, guys. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to do better and different next time. We learned a lot, but honestly, it was a great show. The theme of the show was Flip the Switch. And really the purpose of Light It Up Expo is to bring together the landscape lighting industry, holiday lighting, permanent lighting industry. We're trying to get this outdoor lighting expo together to help people grow their business. Maybe you're not ready for community. Maybe you're not ready for coaching. Maybe you're not ready to do that, but we bring in speakers, we have workshops, we have a trade show floor, we can meet with vendors and see new products and stuff. It was honestly amazing. And the theme was Flip the Switch. So we're trying to help people flip the switch, get to the next level in your business faster than if you weren't listening to this show or going to Light It Up, right? Because too many of us are just letting our businesses run us. And I've been guilty of that as recent as this last year. Like if you don't have a plan and you're not constantly executing it, then your business is running you. And the whole goal of Flip the Switch was to get people to flip the switch and wake up and stop letting their business run them. And instead get intentional and start doing the things that you know are necessary to get you to the next level, because no business just naturally is easy. Okay. In fact, it's the opposite. Every business is like almost terrible. It's really hard, you guys. And there's the honeymoon phase of your business, the first few years and stuff where like everything seems fine. But like when you start to grow and you start to have more demand, and then you have to hire team members and you have to fire team members and you have to train and be a leader. And like, there's a lot to it. So I don't have time to give you the full thing, but I want to just share a couple excerpts from one of my presentations. I felt really good about it. And I had people tell me, they're like, dude, that was one of your best presentations I've ever heard. And so I'm just going to give you like the teaser of it. And I was thinking, I kind of want to do like an encore presentation. So if you were there or you weren't there and you're like, I missed out, I want to hear that. I want to hear that encore presentation. Let me know in the comments, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. And if I get enough demand, like I don't want to do it because I want to do it. I want to do it because other people want to hear it. It was really cool. And I would be down to do an encore if people really want it. So basically I'm just going to run you through not even the whole highlights, just a couple of things. I started off, again, we're talking about flipping the switch, getting to the next level, like getting intentional with your business. And I started off talking about this thing called the definite chief aim. And the definite chief aim is something that gives you purpose. It gives you something to look for. And I don't have it pulled up here, or no, do I have it here? I don't know. It came from basically Napoleon Hill wrote this book like 4,000 years ago called Think and Grow Rich. It's an amazing book. It's hard to like just listen to like casually. Like it's serious. It's a great book. I highly recommend Think and Grow Rich. But he said, have a definite target in mind, a date in which it will be achieved, and what you will give in order to receive it. Okay. So it's like setting goals to the next level and what you will give in order to receive it. And Bruce Lee, I shared what his was. His was amazing. And it inspired mine, what I'm going to put down. But basically, a definite chief aim is like, write down, where are you going? Like, why are you even doing this? Why do you own your own business? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to be like, for me, I'm like, are you trying to be like the father that you didn't have? Are you trying to provide for your family? Are you trying to build a legacy? Like, are you trying to do something that no one has ever done? Like, why are you doing all this? What are you wanting to achieve? Like financially, emotionally, from a time standpoint? Do you want time freedom? What is it? When do you want to achieve it? Who are you going to do this for? Like, who are you serving? And what will you give? What will you give in exchange for that, and why? Right. So I actually had the whole group at Light It Up, like spend a couple minutes starting this. And this isn't an exercise that you're going to just like knock out in 2 minutes, but you could do it now. You could like just write down some of these questions and then do it as homework. And it might take you 3 months to figure out your definite chief aim. I don't know. But remember that just start somewhere. You don't have to know all the details, and your details could change 6 months from now. As you start to progress down the path, you'll be enlightened more, and you'll go, oh, you know what? I'm actually going to think bigger, because I thought $10 million was big, but that's not. I'm going to go for 20. Or I thought I wanted to build a business with 3 installers. I want 6 now, like whatever it is. Okay. So just start. But, and I'm not going to share right now my definite chief aim, but it has to do with $1 billion. Okay. And my mindset is not big enough. Like, I see some of my friends, they're like sharing with the world, like, I'm going to become a billionaire. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if my mind, like, I would love to say that so that people will be like, yeah, Ryan wants to be a billionaire, but like, I don't really want that right now. So like, I'm not going to make something up that's not true to who I am. But I did come up with this $1 billion formula where basically I want to help 1,000 of you. I want to help 1,000 people create an additional $1 million in revenue in your businesses in the next 10 years. And I feel like I'm going to do that before 10 years, but I put a 10-year deadline on that. So if I can help 1,000 people create an extra $1 million, that's $1 billion in additional revenue created that wouldn't have existed had we not worked together. So that's my goal. That's how I want to like chisel at the $1 billion goal, because I don't really care about being a billionaire right now. It's just not on my fantasy list or anything like that. But it is on my list to help people. And if I can help 1,000 of you generate over $1 million, and I give you guys an LMC award, that's freaking awesome. Okay. So that's a portion of mine, I'll call it. And then I basically put together this framework. I call it the owner framework. And again, I'm not going to go over all of it because I really want to get to Greg, and I want to spend time letting him kind of reveal some of the things that he's been working on. But I'm just going to share the first part of it. So part of the owner framework, O stands for, and O is the OWNER framework, really helping you guys go from operating your business to owning your business. This is a brand new presentation. I'd never shared it before, but the O stands for overcoming distractions. And I read somewhere that the average person spends over 2 hours per day on social media. That's the average person. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably above average. So that means you're probably spending 4 hours a day. You're probably spending more than that. But whether it's an hour a day or 2 hours a day, it's most of the time a waste. Like you're either on social media to create or to consume. Now I go on there and I consume. Like I'm guilty of the scroll, right? But I also spend most of my time on social media creating. You'll notice by all the videos that I put out, right? So make sure that the ratio's there, that you're creating more than you're consuming. But I started to do the math. When you have 2 hours per day on average, okay, that you're just scrolling and wasting on social media, that ends up to be 730 hours. 730 hours a year that the average person is wasting, which is 73 10-hour workdays. So if you have 10-hour workdays in your life, most of us do, that's 73. 73, that's over 2.5 months that you're wasting. So the next time you go, well, yeah, I want to do that. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to work on my business, but I don't have time. I'll do that when I have time. I'll do that later. I just don't have time. Like you have time, you're just wasting it because you haven't gotten intentional with your chief definite aim. Okay. So it's important to know where you're going and know what you need to eliminate to get there. And so the first one is overcome distractions. That's the O in the owner framework. I'm not going to go to the next one, but again, if you guys are like, no, I want to hear that. I want to hear the encore presentation. I will put that together. But if there's just one of you, I'm probably not going to do it. But literally distraction, you guys. And that's what social media is. It's the number one tool the resistance uses to keep you satisfied. It's just like, it feels good to just scroll, right? And ironically, some of you are probably watching this right now on Facebook. So I'm grateful that you're willing to get distracted. I'm grateful that you're willing to waste 2 hours of time because otherwise maybe I wouldn't have a business. But like, you got to get intentional with your business. You got to get intentional where you're going, why you're going to do this, what is your plan? If not, your business is going to continually run you. And the problem is, as humans, we're always like, we're not going to fail. We're not going to just be homeless. So we always work up into the bare minimum that we have to do. And that's because you don't have a plan. You don't know where you're going. You don't have your definite chief aim. But when you do have a definite chief aim and you've got it and you read it every day, and mine ends, by the way, and I'll share this at another time. I shared it live with everybody, but the very last sentence says, I see this vision clearly, I feel it deeply, and I take action daily to make it my reality. When I read those words every day, it inspires me, empowers me. I'm like, okay, like I wasn't motivated, but I just read that and now I'm motivated and I know what I'm going for. So print it out, see it daily, and manifest it, and it will happen. I think that's it, guys. Again, Light It Up was amazing. I absolutely loved it. We are totally transforming the outdoor lighting industry. Next year's even going to be bigger and badder. We're working on planning the next one right now. If you want to get tickets and you want to get on the wait list, you can go to lightitupexpo.com. We don't have, you can't buy anything right now, but we do have a link where if you go to lightitupexpo.com, you can get on the wait list. We're going to do some pre-sale tickets and promotions and stuff like that for anyone that's on that list. So we're still working out the details on the location, the date, stuff like that. But if you think you might want to go to lightitupexpo.com and you get pre-registered. So, hey, real quick, where's the button? I almost forgot. You know, a fixture is only as good as the source of light inside it. This light source is what your customers and future customers will ultimately see at night and will result in thousands of dollars in return business for you, along with glowing referrals. Emery Allen is at the top of their game. They believe every lighting professional should have access to a light source engineered from the ground up, dedicated to high performance when you need it most. At the end of the day, it's what's on the inside that counts. So take advantage of Emery Allen's world-class customer service. Get 10% off your first order. All you need to do, guys, and I don't know why people aren't listening to this, because some people still go to their website and then they post on the Facebook group and be like, wow, they're a lot more than I thought, because you're not emailing Tom G at emeryallen.com. So if you want the best deal, email Tom G at emeryallen.com. Mention that I heard about him here on Lighting for Profits, and he'll hook you up with that discounted contractor pricing. Tom G at emeryallen.com. All right, guys, it's time. I'm excited. We got an awesome show lined up. Greg's in the at his office there, ready to go. His HQ, the world headquarters of Luxury Illumination. So let's get the music going and let's get him coming on. Welcome, Mr. Greg Matthews. How are you?
Hello. It's starting to feel like home in here.
Heck yeah, man. I love it. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me on the show today.
Yeah, quick shout out to Tom and Emery Allen, too. We use a lot of his lamps, and my eyes felt like they were off the other night a little bit. They weren't looking like they were the right, Kelvin temperature. So I called Tom up, and he did some random testing in the integrating sphere for me to confirm that they were the right Kelvin temperature, and all of his proportions were in that area. So, yeah, Tom is on top of his stuff.
So what'd you do? You sent back some lamps and said, test these out?
No, he went and took some off the shelf. We did a source batch, and then actually we talked about I have my own spectrometer now because I don't play around. So now I'm going to test lamps here randomly as well and in the field.
That's so awesome, man. How many outdoor lighting companies have a spectrometer in the office?
I don't know, but we do. That's all that matters.
By the way, off topic, what is your go-to color temperature? What do you usually use?
So it's actually been 3000K for a while, but I'm actually going more towards 2700K a lot lately. And it really varies per property, per client, per neighborhood, per house. We're doing a lot of historical houses and older homes and classy estates and things like that. We're also doing like a full color changing controllable house right now. So we do all spectrum of lighting, but 2700 I'm actually leaning towards, and I'm trying to even get something a little bit warmer for some homes, like 2200 Kelvin.
Oh, wow. That's interesting because, back in the day when LED first came out, that was kind of like our claim to fame. I was like, you know what, we're 2700K. We're not the blue looking light or whatever. But I think it's my eyes. Like, I think as I get older, my eyes are changing. I like 3000K right now. Like, I'm a 3K kind of guy.
Yeah.
But everyone's different. With that. Your eyes change.
And make sure you write down when you do become a billionaire, I can finally do your lighting. So I want to be your first call.
Okay.
We can take care of that.
Dude, that's such a good idea. So maybe we'll do it because I want to just do like YouTube videos when I'm bored. And I'll do a YouTube video and be like, all right, I'm calling the top 3 lighting people in the country, and I want to see their pitch. I want to see their design, and I'm going to choose the best one.
Oh, I'm down. Can't wait for the final output. Yeah, I already get it in my head. We're good.
Do you bring the spectrometer with you?
So, yeah, of course. I mean, you show up with all the stuff if it's in a contest, And you can do it like a Gordon and Ramsay thing. Like you get like the crappiest equipment, and you have to make like a 5-course Michelin star, dinner with it.
Oh yeah,
but we get like a random like tin can and an old, bulb and fixture. I'll call it a bulb because it's so old, not even a lamp.
Yeah.
And then we have to make magic out of it. It's like a game show.
And some are even like halogen, some are LED, Gen 1, Gen 5. Yeah, I like this.
7000K.
That would be cool. What's up, Bear Black? Thanks for being here. Rover Mentor of the Year. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think Bear Black still holds the most. He's been to the most events out of anybody in a single year, lighting events.
Oh yeah,
he did like every single one in that 1 year.
He's the reigning champ. Yeah. What's up, Tim?
And then Tim, I saw Tim earlier today. He's actually down here in my area. He was at the CEDIA show.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Well, you've been on the show before, but would you mind just doing a real quick introduction of who you are for those that don't know you and those that have been sleeping in a cave?
So Greg Matthews own Luxury Illumination. We're about 9.5 years old. Main branch here is in West Palm Beach, Florida. Another branch in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have another branch out in Denver. We focus mostly or primarily on high-end residential, super high-end res. I'm a lead mentor a lot of the time at illi International Landscape Lighting Institute, the current treasurer and on the board of the Association of Outdoor Lighting Professionals. And we do only outdoor lighting and outdoor sound systems. We do some pretty killer outdoor sound systems as well. I got about a $300,000 one we're going to install here pretty soon, just of outdoor audio.
Wow.
We worked in about 16 states, 3 countries. I have to go to the Dominican Republic here soon to work on a consult and a design for a client. So that'll be an additional to that. And just love lighting.
And the only award winner of the LMCX so far. Yeah, there it is, baby. I got to see it live last month. When was it? A couple months ago now, but
only one in existence. And I mean, should we tell them the hidden graphic that'll stay there forever because I marked my territory? So that we are keeping it now that I'm announcing it. So the LI graphic is going to stay on all the LMCXs in the future.
It's
So-
kind of like subliminal. Like if you don't, it just doesn't like pop out. But then after when you're staring at it, you're like, wait, is that Luxury Illumination back there?
Damn, that's sexy.
Yeah, it
I
looks
was gonna get my gold chain, like one of my gold chains, and wear it around my neck like this, but it didn't work out. But you know what? I can't wait to get like 2 of these a year.
Well, let's talk about that. You know, I guess I don't know. Let's do this. I've heard people, not just you, but other people in Landscape Lighting Secrets that are doing well, ask you and ask others like, what the heck? Like, why are you in Landscape Lighting Secrets? Like, why would you do that? You should be the one teaching him. You should be the one teaching these classes. Why did you several years ago decide to join Landscape Lighting Secrets?
Well, I mean, I'm a true believer that if you think you know everything, you know, you're already losing. So I love learning something new every day if it's possible. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't want to learn everything, or I don't know everything. So I'm very happy to listen to people, interact with people, work with people, and you can always, you know, get a different aspect of something. So with Landscape Lighting Secrets, we originally came on as like seeing a different aspect of landscape lighting. And it's really turned into more of a business, you know, aspect. I'm in the Legends course, which is your top tier. Do many people even know about the Legends? I don't think so.
Yeah, we don't really advertise it because it is just an internal, like it's like the top level of Landscape Lighting Secrets.
Yeah, and we really don't even talk about lighting very much. So we're talking about how do we get to that next level? You're talking about flipping the switch, you know, and I'm thinking about a dimmer switch right now, and we're kind of like ramping up from 10%, you know, and kind of pushing that dimmer switch up as we do that. But yeah, when we get together, we meet with other great business owners. Keith and Billy are in there with me, different areas of the country. They run different kinds of businesses, both successful, but we all have something to give back to each other. And again, we're not talking too much about lighting. We're talking about how do we make this better in the long run. I want to look forward to the future. I wouldn't say Ryan nor I are really greedy people. So I hate saying money all the time. And for me, it goes back to security for my family, security for my employees. If we're bringing in more revenue, more profits, I want to be the one that's able to give my employees the ability to buy a new home or have children or actually buy a house in West Palm Beach, was insane right now. So we do this to better lives, not only of ourselves, but of other people. And I want to bring in more people to this company because I think we have an amazing organization, and I hear it all the time, but I want to make it better with more better people, not more better people, but more better people. So we can just keep expanding. We're about to bring on, I think, what's going to be a rock star operations manager who is not even really going to go in the field very much, but he comes from other companies and can help us with all the metrics, the KPIs, setting up manuals, setting up systems, making everything stabilized, being an additional me and an additional Stephanie, who's our general manager, who does an amazing job. We're going to be bringing on actually our first salesperson here very soon. We're in the interview process of that. And I do all the sales right now, which I know a lot of companies out there do that. And it's good for a while, but if something happens, it can really hurt not only you and the business, but all of your employees as well. And I don't know if we want to talk about this now, Ryan, like me getting sick last summer, or we can talk about that later. But I think that's a great example of why going through programs like this, setting yourself up for the future, is super important to do, because you never know what can happen any moment. Do you want to go down?
Yeah, I think we can for sure. So even myself, like when we first met and started hanging out and stuff like that, and then you're like, all right, I want to be in your program. Even I was like, well, why are you reaching out to me? Like, how am I going to help you? You're already doing like millions of dollars a year. But I think what's important is really, and you know, we can talk about what happened to you. But it really is, it's bigger than just sales. It's bigger than revenue. And a lot of people from the outside, myself included, will be like, oh, Greg's got it all together. Like everything's fine. He's doing millions of dollars a year. Like, what's the problem? And then introduce what happened to you. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was basically just a summer vacation last summer. Not everybody knows about this. I've told some people, but we went on vacation with the kids in Northern California. Went to go see the sequoias and all the redwoods, and then ended up in Sonoma at the vineyards. And when Eric and I were walking around a vineyard, beautiful location. I mean, I could show you a picture of it, and it looks like, you know, a glimpse into heaven. Like, it was gorgeous. I walked one way around a lake, and she walked the other way because she was checking out a bridge, and had about 6 ticks following me out of a tree, just randomly out of nowhere. And it wasn't in the middle of woods or anything. This was literally in the middle of a vineyard. Kind of brushed them off, didn't really notice too much. And kind of fast forward a few months down the road, I was kind of getting sick off and on. You know, I almost thought I had COVID again, got the flu, wasn't sure, was getting tested for everything. We kind of went back to that over time. But what really set it off is I became almost like couldn't get out of bed. I felt like a 200-year-old man, had a crazy rash on my arms and hands and palms. And anybody that knows me knows that I can sleep for 3 hours for an entire year every night and be fine and be able to party every night as well. And I really had my butt kicked. I would have to go and take 2 naps in a day and try to get stuff done in between. I was actually visiting Aiden up in Nashville, and I had to have him get my little carry-on luggage down for me because I couldn't pick it up and down from the car. So I was still traveling for work and trying to get things going. And then we went into the fancy dermatologist and all the people taking blood work down here in West Palm Beach. Couldn't figure out what it was for a while. I mean, I had so many biopsies and blood tests and all this. They were testing for everything. And then I went into a walk-in clinic up in Nashville just because it had gotten even worse. And thank God that guy made me sit there. We went through all this stuff. He tested it. And a little $8 bottle of doxycycline, a little antibiotic, saved my life pretty much. But during this time, you know, I was really had my butt kicked. I mean, it was really bad. And then you start thinking about, you know, the revenue is going to slow down. Bills have to get paid. Not only my bills, but all the people that I'm paying, their bills have to get paid. So now it's really sets in. You know, I was even emailing Erica to update the will. Like, that's how this was kind of like coming to fruition, which was a good freak out on me. But it was all pretty real, and we didn't know what to do at that point. Thank God it started getting better slowly. But I don't want to get in that situation again where I don't like feeling weak, and sometimes you just can't control it, what happens to you. I mean, people can get in a car accident, be deep stabilized. You could have a heart attack. Somebody could have that. We know there are people in the industry that had that. It could have been worse. So I think we need to set ourselves up for success for ourselves, for our spouses, for our children, for our employees, and for all of their families as well. You know, it's just being responsible.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing. I mean, my wake up call wasn't the same as yours. It was a different story, but they all have the same ending. Like, it's not good. So we do have, like, we're doing a disservice to our family, our team members, our customers, if we're just not willing to take the risk, if we're not willing to build the team. Like, there are a few people that make it through life and their business, and they're able to just be that solo entrepreneur, and everything works out, and like, God bless them for that, you know. But the odds are not in our favor. There's too many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, and during this time too, we won't talk too much in detail about this, but I had one of my longest employees who was high up and had a position title, an important one, literally walk out with 0 notice on me during the middle of this. So at my weakest point, they left also, which actually turned out to be fine. But during that time, it was, you know, I couldn't even think about that because I was on the way to the doctor kind of thing. So you have to be careful and figure out what you have set up for the future. If you had to bring on somebody new, do you have system setups? Do you have process set up? Do you have, you know, how can you bring on that next person without having to train them from scratch? Or who's your backup person? So I think it's all real important to start setting that up now.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like, I know a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes and stuff like that, but I appreciate you sharing that and being vulnerable with everyone. Cause I think from an outside perspective, it's like, oh, Greg, I mean, look, he's got the office, the showroom, he's selling these big projects, like everything's fine. And again, as long as everything's fine, it is, but until it's not, now you're really building this foundation, and you're doing the non-sexy stuff. You know, the sexy stuff is to go out and sell millions of dollars. And like, that feels good too. The non-sexy, like boring, is building the foundation. Like, if you want to erect this large building, then you're gonna have to dig the foundation. You're gonna have to do all the dirty work. Like, you're not gonna brag about like how cool this concrete is type thing, you know? And that's what you guys are doing. And it's going to be freaking awesome, because soon, once that foundation's in place, then you guys are going to tear it up.
Yeah. It's like those little posters. You see the iceberg there, and it shows like the section of the iceberg you see above the water. It's kind of like where we're at right now. So we're going to start seeing the rest of that iceberg where most of it is below the water. Like we start building that foundation. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm kind of fired up. I don't know if you can tell, but.
Well, I've said the phrase before. I didn't invent this phrase. I just hear people say it. What got you here won't get you there. So like, it's awesome what Greg has, you've gotten your company to this point, but now that you're building this dream team, man, it's going to be so epic. What are some of the things that you've done? You mentioned you're hiring an operations manager. You got a sales person. What are some other things that you guys have done to get out of your own way?
Well, that, and so I'm really debating on going from 1 salesperson to 3 salespersons within 4 months over different territories, because now we have more people to manage those people, turning the first one into a sales manager. And then at that point, hiring a whole nother crew, like all within the year. So, we could, I'd say 2.5 times XR revenue down here. This is just in West Palm Beach. And now in Nashville, we're also building up some stuff up there. We got some new properties we're walking, some amazing clients that we're meeting up there that I can't talk about. So that's also going to be building up there, another foundation for that area. Once we get up here, we can kind of replicate it in the different areas, customize it for the zones, and hire some more teams up there as well.
What has I was out of town, and then I saw you and Keith and Billy like texting back and forth. You seem fired up right now to be like, all right, we're not even waiting for Ryan at this point. Like we're going, like, we set goals, we all talk about this, but the last time you and I talked, you're like, yeah, screw that goal, we're going bigger. Like, where's that coming from?
I don't know. I mean, I just think, a Deca Millionaire Award is kind of cool, but why are we not getting that every 6 months? Because I totally have the ability to with the right team. And like, that's just kind of like, hey, it's when you get too comfortable, like when you got to buy a house, or you go to clean up the government waste spending, or you go to, invest in a building for your company. It sucks at first, but it's an investment that pays off in the end. It even, like, business owners out there, all of you should have a retirement plan set up and be donating to that or putting into that every single month right now. And if you don't, get on that. Because the longer you wait, the less you're going to have in that account when you're needing for it to use it. So I think it's right now we're doing some pretty cool stuff, but I think we should be doing like much better things. And again, with me, the only person doing sales, why don't we have a team doing that? We have all the connections. I have some really amazing new contacts we've been working on, lighting homes of. Tomorrow night, we're walking the property of a client's house that we lit. He's the #4 realtor in the nation. So you're dealing with a person who sells billions of dollars worth of real estate. So you think about that, selling houses. So you have a normal realtor selling millions of dollars of houses a year, think they're doing great. And this guy over here is doing $4 billion a year, or $4 billion over 4 years. So people can do these things in any industry. If you're going to be the best, you may as well do it. I mean, go for it and do it properly.
Well, honestly, it wasn't until I met you. Like, I thought I had a pretty good mindset, because I was like, man, I did a $150,000 job once. And, I know there's $250,000 jobs. And then I met you and I was like, wait, his average job is over that. And
yeah, we have 2 this year coming up that will be over 7 figures each, and they're residential.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I mean, it makes sense though. These are like $100 million properties. So what's $1 million? Like it's fine.
Well, but honestly, that's how you have to think about it. You don't spend your own money, don't sell your own money. They expect to spend. I mean, it's not even going back to the money though. If the quality is there, the design is there, the quality of the product is there, the installation is there, they're happy to spend that. I mean, some people spend that on a staircase or a wedding ring. You can spend that on a car. Why not spend it on lighting that can make your life better every night? And that's a real way to really think about this stuff, because I know we say this all the time when we're calling them salespeople in this talk, but I hate the word sales. I've done all the work. I've done all the research. We tested everything. We know what product we're using. We know how to design it. We know where it's going to go. So we're not salespeople. We're just designing the proper solution for that client. And I'm not trying to push something onto them that they don't need or deserve. So it's really, that's how we come across as designers rather than salespeople, because we're basically problem solvers. We're trying to allow a client to spend more time with their family, which to a lot of people is worth more than $1 million. Now you can have your family reunion at your home and not have to go inside at 5 p.m. You can have the yard photograph for a TV show. You can hand it down the quality of product down to your kids. Like those are the kind of systems we want to build and maintain.
Yeah, well said. Tell us the story when you were meeting with that realtor and you start walking around his property.
Oh, yeah. So it all goes back to confidence, which anybody that knows me, I do have a little bit of confidence, but I try to keep it below arrogance slightly in a good way. But when you are around other people like that who are very successful and they know their skill set and, are the top of the game, again, doing billions of dollars real estate, as we're walking the property, my first time meeting him in person through a referral source, he's kind of talking about areas to light and what to do. And then he starts naming specific and pointing out the specific trees and how he wants them lit. So I kind of cut him off and I'm like, you stick to selling houses and I'll light your yard and I'll stick to my job and you do yours. And he says, you're hired, basically right there. Like, I like you. But if you do something like that, you better do an amazing job with the final outcome as well. So it's just like doing a design. Every single dot of those 700 or 800 fixtures we do on properties, they better all make sense. You put 2 lights on there that don't make sense, the clients will pick it out. They become lighting designers by the end of the process. So you don't want to have too many or too little on a project. So that really comes into the walkthroughs of the clients, getting what they want to do with the property, to your design, to the final outcome. All needs to go seamlessly.
Love it. Yeah. And if the client sees you as a salesperson, they're going to naturally want to fight you on everything because they think, oh, you're just trying to put another light there because that's an extra $500. But when they see you as a trusted advisor, a guide, a helper, a problem solver, then they're grateful for every recommendation because you've thought of everything. You're the illi mentor. You're on the AOLP board. You're in Landscape Lighting Secrets. You've done everything in your power and your ability to be the best at your game. Why would they not respect that?
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to hire the best, mechanic to work on their car or whatever. I didn't want to downgrade it that much, but let's talk about interior designers and people like that are sometimes not even that great at their job, but oh my gosh, what they charge is insane. So for what we do and what we can do to a property, if you do it properly with the right quality stuff, we're actually underpriced if you think about it. And, I'm sure a lot of lighting installers, I mean, we've installed projects with per fixture pricing of $800 to $1,000 sometimes, depending on the fixture type, the wiring, how it's put in, how many zones are put in, the transformer amounts. So you can go from a 200 fixture project, dollar per fixture project, to $1,000 per fixture project, but depending on clients and what they want and how it's going to be installed. So there's a big variance there in what they need and what they deserve.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome what you've done so far, man. And I feel like you are just getting started. It's freaking incredible. We do these awards a lot, and Landscape Lighting Secrets really is about business. I'm not trying to be the lighting design teacher of the year or whatever. Like, I feel like I'm actually a really good lighting designer, but there's people that teach lighting design. There's people that teach installation, stuff like that. I want to help people get intentional and live their dreams. Like that's what it's all about. So we have the awards, the LMC, which is $1 million, the Pentamillion, the 5 million, the LMCX, which is the 10. Now we're working on the 20. We haven't even come up with a name yet for it. It's the $25 million one. So we do that again. It's not because we're greedy. You're one of the most generous people I know. But it's no secret. The more profit you have, the more you're able to pay your team. It's actually a disservice to not care about money. Like you're being disrespectful to your team members, to your clients, to your family. Like it's your not just right, but I guess it's your privilege to like build a very profitable business so that you can give back to the community, give back to your people, and not have to stress out every single week of, am I going to be able to afford payroll?
Well, and if you got too much money, then donate to your favorite charity. I mean, you don't have to, there's plenty of things you can do with money, and it's better for good people to have money than bad people to have money. That's,
Absolutely. So can we talk about design? Let's shift gears, talk about design for a second.
That's my favorite word.
Yeah. How do you approach it? You get a call. How do you approach the first step of lighting design?
So generally, I mean, a lot of our clients come from referral sources, so we're not really talking to them on the phone very long or much. I'm not qualifying them at all. A little bit different than, cold calling or getting calls into the company. That we don't do any marketing or advertising at the moment, really. So we do like some build magazines, but it's more for the contractors. So if I have somebody coming in from me, it's usually a referral from somebody. I'm going to talk to that client, set up a time, figure out to go out with, meet them. On that meeting, I'll kind of have a quick discussion with them, maybe 10, 15 minutes, kind of their wants and needs, how they use our home, look through their windows from the inside out, see how things are laid out, look how old the client is, if they have kids or not, if they have grandkids, if they have pets, looking at all the different things that they may need for lighting and how much they can see of the lighting, looking at the neighborhood they're in, looking at the age of the home that they're on, looking at the Kelvin temperature of the lights in the inside, the color of their house. So these are all different variations that I'm not even talking to them about, but I'm observing. And then we'll drone the property generally. So I'll fly the drone up, take a picture straight down of the property. I'll take front angle shots with the cell phone. They don't need to be fancy, but they're kind of reference pictures. And we'll go back to the shop and kind of design things. So
And
we'll go through each.
when you're doing that, like I've seen your like cell phone shots, like you said, there's nothing fancy, but you're doing that to remind you what the area looked like. So when you go to mock up the plan, is that right?
Yeah. So I put on the widest setting. I just get straight shot, kind of look around. So when you go back to design, there's a lot of all your detail work, you remember kind of, but like we want really detailed, specific designs that, point out statues, features. I may have 10 different fixture types on a project. So I want to have all those details. Do I need a cordial this one? Does it need to be a well light or a path light? What size riser do I put on this one? Is it a bullet? So I want to have all those details. So when I'm designing, I put the right fixture in the right place.
Yeah.
And when I go back,
you're not able to see that on a 2-dimensional plan. It's just a dot on a piece of paper.
no, it's just a dot on a paper. So when I go back to present, so the first visit, I'm not really showing in my portfolio at all. So they don't really see pictures of our work because it's not really relevant at that point. So I do go back a second time. During that, we have a beautiful printout printed out on nice paper. It's not on a tablet. It's not on flimsy paper. Reason I don't use a lot of tablets or phones or anything like that to show off pictures is because they're too bright on a phone or too dim on a phone. There's too many variations. You may have reflections from the ceiling lights, all these little things that play into a client's mind where, if you have a beautiful lighting picture, but they're seeing their hi-hat reflecting off your iPad, it can really, mess up the image. So
let me go back real quick. So when you're on that first meeting, there's not a lot of involvement with the client, maybe asking questions and stuff, but you're really just documentation.
Correct. And we generally don't talk about budget. So I know it's good to price marinate. It actually is a great technique sometimes, but most of the time we're not even price marinating because I don't know exactly where we're going to be at. In our projects, even a small yard is usually around 70 grand, 80 grand for like, I wouldn't say minimum, but like that's our smaller projects. A lot of our projects are going to $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, depending on the size of the yard and how many plants they are. And again, that's not to rack up the bill. That's just what they need to light the property properly.
Yeah.
So on the second meeting, we're going back, we're taking that printout, we're walking through the placement plan that we've designed in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. It's beautiful. It's color. We have different icons we created. We have up and down lights. We have all the different ones that have risers. We have the different fixtures. We have a legend. Next to the legend shows a small icon of what the fixture actually looks like. So that answers the question to the client when they're looking at it. And then this is when we have our portfolio book out and say we have a light with we have a tree with up and down lighting with maybe some pendant lights or whatever. Now I brought a picture that shows what a finished tree would look like with that. It's not their specific tree, but it's something that would be pretty much how that tree is going to look. So you're now connecting those little dots that don't mean much to a client to a 3D image of a finished product that is real. So they know that their tree can be that same quality. And then, a lot of trees we do, we hardly ever do a single light on a tree. And even smaller trees can have, 5, 7 lights sometimes to make them just more balanced, evenly lit. You don't have hot spots, especially when you go up and down lighting. So it all kind of adds up. So when they see all those dots, it kind of freaks them out at first, but you have to show what the purpose of each of those icons is going to do and how it's going to light up the tree more evenly and balance it out. And people that understand lighting are, totally get it by the end of this process. So by leading them through, it actually works out well. If we do need to reduce budget, we kind of work with them on what areas they want to reduce or take off. But I don't do a good, better, best. It's, we do a design and we actually charge for that design for the proposal. Sometimes I'll do a pre-charge for some designs if it takes a long time, we have one property we're doing right now. We're getting $50,000 in design fees just to design the outdoor lighting for that property before we do any of the install. But that's taking me a long time to do and going back and forth kind of thing. But the other ones will actually add a design fee to our proposal. So when they accept it, they are paying for that design as well.
And you're pretty confident at that point because of the referral source that you're getting the job. Yeah,
our close rate is extremely high. Where we're getting the jobs from, our closing process, the quality of our work. And this is what's going to have to go on to my salesperson coming on, is the confidence, the ability to answer all the questions correctly, talk about the plans, know your knowledge about that. And yeah, that's just how it is. So we have a pretty good close rate because of those reasons.
We did have one question. So 60, 70 grand for a small job. Is that correct? Can you elaborate who your customers are?
People with 60 to 70 grand to spend on landscape lighting. No, I'm just kidding. We do all high-end residential. And like I said, we're all over the place. Our main area is West Palm Beach, Florida. But like I said, we've worked in 16 states. So there is wealthy people all over the country. There's always people in towns that are willing to spend that. I think a lot of people are afraid to ask for that if they don't have the proper quality product to sell them, if that makes sense. So people can afford that. If you walk in and you say, hey, we're going to do $20,000 in landscape lighting because to you, $20,000 is a lot of money, that's what you're going to be stuck to. If you walk into a property and don't spend your own money and want to provide them with the best product and make them like really wow, and it's going to take that much money to create it, then that's all you got to think about it. And with that confidence, that's how you come up with those numbers. The numbers come by what the fixtures are needed to create the perfect lighting scene.
So when you go and do that proposal, they see 8 dots on a tree. And what do you say when they're like, I mean, do we really need that many lights on that tree?
So my favorite words are have your portfolio in check. I've talked multiple places about taking pictures, setting up mock-ups, doing all this stuff. So stupid, silly thing. Why don't you get your camera out, take one tree, take 8 lights and put 1 light on it, take a picture, put 2 lights on it, take a picture. Do that for people starting out with this. I can explain it better and I don't need to do it that simplistic. Yeah. But show the difference between this. I think the COLD program, the Certified Outdoor Lighting Designer program for AOLP, they have you do that. They have a tree you're supposed to do for your project and light it multiple ways and see what the best way of doing it is. And you can see how it improves so much when you do it properly. You lower the wattage, increase the amount of fixtures, get rid of your hot spots. That's what you really need the more fixtures for.
Yeah, that's great advice. It sounds elementary to be like, okay, here's one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But honestly, like most people will show their portfolio and they might, let's just say someone has a tree with 8 lights on it. They might show that to someone but the people don't know like how good it looks because you haven't shown them how bad it can look. So,
and I would say if you take that same picture and you take another copy of it and you drop icons on it for where you had fixtures to make that effect, that really makes them realize, hey, this is what you use to make this lighting proper. If people haven't gone to illi, illi is a great course to take, International Landscape Lighting Institute. You'll put out 200-300 fixtures and it's really, you're working on a mock-up of a design install with no budget because it's all a mock-up. So now it really gets you thinking like, what do I need to do to make the design purpose or perfect? And you're not worried about what's my client have to spend for money. Now, I'm not saying go to your local trailer park and start trying to sell them $60,000 landscape lighting jobs. But even normal people can spend more on their landscape lighting if it's worth it than I think what people are really going for and charging if their product is correct.
Yeah. I just know there's people listening to this right now or tomorrow, whenever they listen, they're going to be like, yeah, but okay, so you're in West Palm Beach. It must be easy to sell $300,000 jobs, $700 a light. What if I dropped you off in like, I don't know, why am I picking on Iowa and North Dakota?
Is this like an episode 2 of the game show that we're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like the first episode, you're going to sell me the lights, and then we're going to drop randomly, just random locations,
Detroit.
And you have to make $1 million in 7 minutes, or you die.
No, but literally working in 16 states. So, yeah, I mean, I think almost all the jobs that I've traveled for are going to definitely be in the multi-$100,000 range because I'm not going to travel for a $50,000 job. So we're talking 16 states out of 50 so far. So that gets rid of a lot of excuses for people. They need to get working on this stuff.
All right, so this is a good one. Charles says, pick on Richmond, Virginia. I have a feeling I know why, because he lives there. But that's like an easy place to pick on. Like, but Greg, what would you do? We drop you off Richmond, Virginia. You have to make $1 million in the next 6 months.
So I'm gonna make some political ads because we're near Washington, D.C., right? So yeah, we're gonna go towards that. We're going towards politicians, dirty money, straight for it. But yeah, you're gonna look for your demographics. You're gonna look for areas. You're gonna drive neighborhoods, find out who needs lighting.
Everybody.
There's so many everywhere. There's like, I mean, I travel a lot, and everywhere I go, you'll see beautiful homes, and the lighting is horrible. We're doing a $150 million house right now, and they had 0 lighting on it.
How old is the house? How old was the house?
Well, it was the house is actually from the 70s, but then they just did a full revamp. But the house has its own island, so it's a house on an island next to an island.
Dude,
so
I was scrolling. I'm like scrolling Facebook, or no, it was Instagram, and like the top 3 coolest mansions ever. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool. And the first one was this house on an island, and I was like, I've seen that's Greg's project. It's an island house in Florida.
But see, to get that, I got a referral through a landscape architect who I'd been working on for a year and a half. So it's not like I went and door knocked or put a little hanger tag or we're lighting your next door neighbors. Those people don't even live in the house for 8 months after I lit it. We're actually doing more during the summer. They have to redo the whole thing. So there's different routes of doing it, but again, don't go and approach a landscape architect without a portfolio book, without knowledge of what you're talking about. And please learn what trees you're lighting. You know, a lot of these landscape lighting guys will say, hey, I'm going to light that pine tree. And it's like, an evergreen or a conifer, or like, it's not even the right tree. So you want to have that knowledge to talk about trees with your clients.
Big tree, tall tree, skinny tree, fat
green
tree.
one, the green one over there. But if you're going to be screwing in downlights to a tree, you want to know how to do that properly. That's healthy. And you want to explain that to the client. So learn your horticulture. The salesperson I'm hiring actually has a heavier background in botanical knowledge than they do in lighting, because I can more easily teach lighting than species and growth rates and, colorations, because trees will even change colorations, in different seasons. What's going to drop leaves if you're in the northern states, how you'd light that differently. So get obsessed with this stuff, with the business side and with the design side. Like I said, illi is like a requirement everybody should go to. It's not cheap, but it'll change your life. I think Ryan was second place mentor of the year of Rover, but there was only one.
That's a lie. Yeah, I'm kind of honored because they've never actually handed out that award ever. And they didn't even hand it out when I was there, because it's pretty sleek award.
How cool was that though? We got to light a national historic monument during that.
That was
pretty intense.
I missed when you went back and did it for realsy.
Yep, I got that hanging on my wall. That is definitely resume work. That was not one of the most expensive jobs that I've done, because we only lit a little section, but it's definitely one of the top jobs I've ever done. It's built by a famous architect with this famous sculpture in it. It was awesome, and we got to represent illi as well.
I'm actually kind of hard to please, and I'll tell you guys, if you have not gone to illi, I don't even know if you can go get it because they have the reunion coming up, but probably in the fall. You guys need to go. Even again, myself, I'm like, I think I have a pretty big mindset. You go and you learn new ideas, new techniques. You'll get confidence. Like right now, you're like, man, how am I going to put, that many lights on a project? I'm not Greg Matthews. We'll borrow some of his confidence, but go to illi and get some of your own, because it was a huge improvement in my mindset and everything. I recommend everyone goes.
Yep. And I should be a lead mentor again for fall. And I believe it's getting finalized for Ontario, Canada area. Not sure if it's Ontario, but I think it's going to be in Canada.
Well, I just feel honored that I was Rover Mentor of the Year. So I'm pretty sure I was the only Rover Mentor of the Year of all time too. So that's cool.
That is good. And but to go back to that, and you go to illi and you're like, I'm never going to put 30 lights on a tree. That's just stupid. But we've literally sold, like, I have a tree we did in Wellington, and the client does yoga below it, and they have a deck, and there was nowhere to put lights below it. They wanted it very subtle. So of course, when you want something very subtle, what you do, you put 36 lights inside of this tree. And all these lights are very low wattage, or 1.5 watts. So you can come out here, do your meditations, your yoga. You have no light sources in your eyes. The whole tree glows. and it's just awesome. But you can actually do things like that in real life if you can correlate that correctly to a client and say, this is what you need for this to happen.
Yeah, and let me clarify too. Like the average landscape lighting job in the world is not $300,000. Like the average is like $10,000. So maybe you can't go put 36 lights on a tree every time, but maybe you were going to put 2 and now you can put 5. You know,
That's a
it's
big
still,
difference.
still
Yeah.
can look better than what you're doing now. And like maybe you're doing a bunch of $10,000 jobs. That's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of those opportunities out there. But if you devoted a little bit of your time and said, you know what, I'm going to start well hunting. Like if you want to get to $1 million, you could get 200 people to give you $5,000. That's one way. You could get 20 people to give you $50,000, or you could get 2 people to give you 500,000. There's just different ways. So maybe you just get, you know, one $200,000 job this year and then a bunch of 10 grands. Like there is no one way to win. There's lots of different ways to win, but it's just a lot faster and easier if you elevate the size of your jobs for sure.
Well, and I would say even from, there's nothing wrong with doing $10,000 jobs. I'll reiterate that. I mean, that's great. But if you take that $10,000 job and you can turn it into 11 or 12 or 15, now you're adding additional profit because you're not having to go and close another person.
Yep.
You're having a happier client in the end. You're doing better quality work, and your revenue is going to be higher as well. So just adding a little bit onto it, again, if it's needed, is a great thing for you and your client, and it's more profitable.
I mean, that's the thing, man. When you really look at it, most people are just barely surviving because, again, as humans, we just kind of naturally do the bare minimum to get by. But if everyone would just squeeze out an additional 10, 20%, that those projects pay out higher. Like if you just close one extra job a month now, you're going to get paid at 65% because your overhead's already covered instead of 25%. If you raise your price by a little bit, if you add 5 more lights, like that's where all the money's at. And most people are afraid to do that because they're already because they don't have the confidence. They don't have these skills to be able to demand those higher prices.
And it takes time to build the confidence, but the only way to do it is to start. You know what I mean? So start making better quality products now.
One question from Joe Rubino. What's up, Joe? Joe's in Landscape Lighting Secrets. What helped you get into a higher clientele market?
So Joe looks like he's from New York based on his little picture there.
Chicago.
Oh, is that Chicago? Yeah. So
Well,
one of our biggest projects was actually in Winnetka, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. And we also did a job up there in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is nearby. But you need your presentation to be correct first before you go after higher clientele. So if you don't have your portfolio perfect, if you don't have your brands perfect, if you don't have your design layout, how you're going to present to a client perfect, you need to work on all those now. And then after that, figure out your route. I mean, there's tons of people who are in the high-end market. Do you go after realtors? Do you go after, even landscapers are doing the high-end landscape projects? How do you find somebody who's already dealing with high-end clientele? Do you just bring out ads if you have the great pictures in these magazines? Take out a back cover, spend the money on the good advertisements for the high-end magazine, something like that. But before you do any of that, you need to perfect all your processes of the design, the presentation, and the close. Because once you get in front of that person, you're only going to have one shot at it. And if you fumble, you may as well start over. On to the next referral.
Love it. A couple of things before we wrap up. Number one, I hear a lot of people saying, oh man, it's slow right now. I need more leads. A lot of people are asking me, I need more leads. I need more leads. But yet I know like you seem to be doing fine. Billy seems to be doing fine. Keith seems to be doing fine. A lot of people in the top levels of Landscape Lighting Secrets. What, in your opinion, what's the state of the lighting industry?
I think it's a great state. Oh my gosh. Let's just talk about like 10 years ago where it was at even. So if you go back even that far, which is not what we're really talking about, but all the resources, all the new products, all the knowledge bases, all the trainings, technology changes. I mean, everybody has it easy now compared to like even before me, we had halogen. So let's start back then. So now everything has kind of progressed to a place where everything has gotten a lot easier. As far as economy wise, I think we're kind of, you need to diversify your sources. So if you're only doing mail marketing, if you're only doing online ads, if you're only doing this, Look for new lead sources. I would say that kind of diversify where you're getting your leads from. So don't kind of put all your eggs in a basket. You may have to switch up things, change things. We don't see a slowdown where I'm at. Plus, we were walking some new houses up in Nashville that are amazing. Like I said, we're actually meeting with a celebrity client, I think, in a couple of months up there. So it's not just this market, it's around where you just have to adapt and, make sure you hunker down, keep your kind of cash on hand. But I would definitely diversify where you're going to be going out and looking for new leads through different routes would be my suggestion. I'm networking all the time. I have a dinner at 7:00 with the owner of an outdoor audio company that we're researching to actually look into that as another source. We already do a lot of outdoor audio, but I'm looking into a new company to see what they have to offer as well. So we're always adapting, kind of advancing. Even if we have something great, let's make it better than that.
Is that a networking group, or you reached out to them individually?
That's the networking group I'm in a few. There's one, it's actually kind of a cool concept. A lot of cities don't have this, but we actually, each company that's in this networking group donates $10,000 a year. So this $10,000 a year is all pulled together, and together we donate $100,000 at a time to charities. So now what we can do is we're donating to charity, giving money back, helping people. We're also getting PR. We're meeting with the right people, getting with good organizations. So that's helped out a lot, where we're also meeting with other top companies in different industries that we can network with and build our companies together with. So it's kind of a unique one that I'm in. But tonight I'm just going to meet with the owner of a manufacturing company to see what they have to offer. But I'm always kind of working on the next thing.
I feel like the groups you go to are different than like the Chamber of Commerce and what's the other big national networking one? I can't remember the name of it right now.
Tomorrow night, I got a cocktail hour on a yacht at the boat show that I got invited to through a networking group. So we're going on a $20 million yacht to have some drinks with people and network. So I do that for 2 hours tomorrow. That's my job, which I'm turning it more into my job because that's what I'm really good at.
Well, and the thing is, like, I don't think people realize that you're not just like sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. Like, you are intentional, and it looks cool. It's like, oh, cool, Greg's having fancy food on a yacht again or whatever. But like, you're not just there to have a good time. Like, you're going to get a lead out of it.
Yeah.
Most people go to these networking groups and it drives me crazy. And even to the chambers, I'm like, well, if you're going to go, which I don't know that those are the best ones, but if you're going to go, you need to leave with a lead. Like, you need to present yourself differently. Be like, hey, my name's Ryan Lee. I'm here and I change lives for a living. What? Someone's going to listen to that and be like, you change lives for a living? Like, tell me more. Right. And by the way, I'm not here just to dick around. Like, I want to help you grow your business. So come over here. I want to help you guys get a lead today, and lead with value, and then walk out of there with a lead. Like, have a plan instead of just showing up, because the problem is most of us, it feels good to be busy. It's like, oh yeah, I did my networking for the day, I can check out. But like, if you don't have a plan and you don't know what you're going after, and you don't have your definite aim, it's not going to happen. So I think you're a lot more intentional than I think people realize.
Yeah. And I would say if you're going to go network with people, have a solution for them. I won't say everybody's lazy these days, but everybody's busy these days. So if you want to do a networking thing with another professional, say a landscaper or whoever, present them with a nice printout, shows what you do, how the program's going to work, if you're going to give them a commission or not, how you get the referral source, lay it all out for them. So within 10 seconds, you're not like trying to figure out on the fly how you guys are going to work this out. And if you need to adapt something, adapt it and change it, but at least you have something to start with.
Hey, we got one last question. Have you ever implemented a referral program? You were just talking about potential commissions and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he's referring to like referral partner program or a client referral program, but have you implemented either of those?
So we do a lot of referrals. We don't do a whole lot of commission referral programs. Like, luckily our work is great, and the people that we work with want their client yards to be great. And we're also able to bring a lot of work into those people that refer us work. So I have an AV and an IT background, but we don't go into the houses anymore doing AV work, because I don't want to step on the toes of my AV referral partners. So there needs to be a separation there. Yeah, if they bring that job, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer one of my partners to a job if they need internal AV, because now they can refer me to a different client. It doesn't have to be that particular job. If I can bring work into one of my referral partners, that helps them think about me again in the future.
What? And I know you don't really do a lot of commissions, but I feel like you do like gifts or dinners or just different things like that to give them a thank you.
Yeah, I think our dinner budget last year was $75,000. Like seriously, that was a food budget. So we do a lot of dinners, a lot of goings out, things like that are fun, but it's a lot of networking. And that's how you really meet people. Like if you can do dinner, break bread with them, as I say, come up with plans, then meet up again, actually get things going. That's the way to do it. But yeah, networking and then doing what you say is the most important thing. If you sell yourself, like we talked about, I don't like selling. If you sell yourself as somebody and then don't follow up with it or don't produce, then you've just wasted all that time of both of yours.
The last thing I'll say that I notice about you is you definitely have this abundant mindset. And I don't know if you were born with that. I don't know if you learned it. I don't know if you developed it, but it's the opposite of everyone else. Everyone else is like, oh, I don't know. How much is that going to cost? Or, oh, like $75,000 meal budget. Like that's crazy, right? So most people would be like, oh, I can't even afford like $750, you know? How do you work through that? Where did that come from?
That's an investment. I mean, that's not, I get to eat the food, but I'm eating it with other people and that's an investment. So you got to see what works for your company, what's actually producing results. If I was spending that much money on meals and I was getting nothing out of it, it'd be a great time, but that wouldn't be part of my referral program.
But I love that it doesn't scare you. It's like, well, that didn't work, so I'll just do something else. Like money, I feel like one of those trees in your backyard, I didn't find one, but one of them just prints money, and I don't know which one it is. Because you feel like, you know what, it doesn't matter. If I screw up today, I'll solve it tomorrow.
Well, and then I'd say the other thing, every business owner, I mean, it takes a while, but do have some cash in the bank in case we get COVID 2.0 or stuffing gets shut down again. Have some backup money in the account. Have your, lines of credit set up, even if you never use them. What if you needed money next week because something really went bad? We have all that kind of set up in the background where if I didn't get work for 3 months, we'd be fine. It's going to suck and I'd freak out a little bit, but we would survive and everybody would get paid. So be a responsible business owner as well, where you're not just blowing all the money, you're investing it, but have a backup plan if something does go wrong.
All right. Love it, man. Well, we'll pretty much wrap up. We want to do one announcement. So this is your, how many years in business?
Hold
Hold on. Oh yeah.
So
I think I like.
How do we correlate this? It's going to be my DECA year. Is that how it comes back to the award? My DECA year, because it's my 10th anniversary.
Sure. Yeah, it's your X year. It's X.
Oh wow, formerly known as Twitter.
Luxury Illumination X, LIX.
Dude, I'm getting that printed later. That's going to be the theme of the party. Is going to be the X from Luxury. This is awesome.
Yeah,
this is live, people. We're doing planning.
This is happening. Like this is how we like make shit happen.
Yeah. But yeah, it is going to be our 10th anniversary party. Dates getting finalized into September, and our grand opening party. I believe we had people here from 16 different states. I think it's about 250 people, 300 people that came. So we want to break that record for our 10th anniversary. So we needed to figure out how to do a state call out and get at least more than 16 states coming.
Yeah, well, so basically everyone's invited. The only rule we had last time was no douches, I think.
Yeah, that's standing rule in my office all the time. I'm gonna get that printed. But we're gonna have, I gotta get the band book. We're gonna have live band. We'll have the food truck. Probably gonna set up a lighting fair, and Ryan Lee is gonna tag along again here and set up the entire. You can tell them about what's gonna happen right before.
Yeah, so we're still finalizing dates, but we think we know it. But end of September, we'll announce the dates. We're doing Secret Summit Thursday, Friday, and then we're gonna have Luxury Illumination X party that Saturday. It's going to be epic, guys. So obviously Secret Summit is just for members only, but everyone in the landscape lighting community is going to be invited to the Luxury Illumination X party, and you're not going to want to miss it, guys. The last time was like Greg said, his grand opening, and it was phenomenal. Such an amazing networking opportunity. It's like it's not like we even sell tickets. It's just like, just show up. Like we're going to throw a killer party.
Yeah, and I tell people this all the time. Like I'm pretty good at lighting. Like that's kind of a thing for me. But throwing parties is my real specialty. So like that's what I was born to do. And we are kind of in a crappy part of town, right in West Palm Beach near the water. But I'm just saying, you can probably get a hotel nearby, make a weekend out of it, have some fun. And also a reminder, the first party that my grand opening party was actually the first Secret Summit for Landscape Lighting Secrets.
It was the first
live.
landscape lighting live we had done ever.
Yeah. So it's like a full circle here.
Yeah. I love it, man. No, it's going to be cool. I mean, everyone who's coming to Secret Summit is just going to get a bonus free party. And then again, even if you're not in Lighting Academy or Landscape Lighting Secrets, you'll still be invited to the party. Just no douches allowed. That's the only rule. So it should be pretty easy to live that law.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, that's gonna be exciting. So we'll announce the date soon. But congrats on your 10 years. We're gonna definitely celebrate, party hard. We got is it gonna be the Flyers? Are we booking the Flyers?
I'm planning on it. Yeah, I got to call them. I don't know if the flamethrowers will come out again because there was kind of a fire hazard last time, but we'll see. We'll see. You never know.
Yeah, but everyone survived. We didn't make the news or anything, so it was fine.
We'll get the hose out maybe, but that was fun.
Wait, the hose? There was hose there?
Never mind.
Now you tell me. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks so much for jumping on here. I know you inspired a lot of people today. Thanks for sharing your story, your ideas, your processes. I'm just excited for you, man. I know you're working on building your foundation. It's not easy. You've hired people and fired them, and things don't always work out. But the thing that I admire about you is you just keep moving forward. So I'm just excited and honored to be part of your journey, and look forward to seeing you in September for sure.
And I just want to say thank you. I think by a lot, from a lot of the lighting community, because I think you genuinely do help a lot of lighting businesses out there, and you are improving lives in the lighting industry. So not everybody knows you, but I think you have helped a lot of people. Oh, geez, the shirt comes out.
Thanks, Greg. You're the best. I just forgot that I was wearing this. I'm like, that's so nice, Greg.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, thank you for helping what you do with the industry, and let's all keep moving forward as an industry together. I think we can help each other out a lot.
Love it, man. Thanks so much for saying that. I do appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time. Go make some money. Go spend time with family. And thanks a lot, Greg. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Everyone have an awesome week. Now just go implement this stuff and go make millions of dollars and get financial freedom and spend time with your family and go on cool vacations and eat expensive steak. Love you guys.
It's that easy.